What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Mattel WWE Elite Collection Wrestlemania Heritage Series, Booker T. And so here we have Booker T posing out of the packaging. Before we have a look at the figure, let's actually take a look at what he comes with. Booker T does come with 3 pairs of hands. We do have a pair of grasping hands for Booker T. We get a pair of style pose hands. And then we also do get a pair of pointing finger hands, which all look really good on the figure. And then we also do get the lower torso and the arms of Dangerous Danny Davis, which we'll have a better look at when he's all put together. Now, as far as Booker T here goes, there's really not much more he would come with, because he really didn't use any weapons during the match. He was pretty much like this, and I really do like the fact that we have a really solid figure here. So what we're going to do now is actually take a closer look at Booker T. And so here we have a better look at Booker T. Now, Mattel has done a phenomenal job with this figure. I really love the face sculpt on it. It really does look like Booker T from his WrestleMania 19 battle with Triple H. So it's a really good likeness to Booker T. And I really do like his hair. I really like the short dreads there. It's really accurate to how his hair was during that match. So Mattel has actually knocked it out of the park with this head sculpt. Nothing negative to say about the head, although I do think I was going to say it sits a little high, but looking at it from a straight-on perspective rather than a little bit of angled, you can see it sits perfectly on Booker T's body, and it does have a really nice range of movement to it, which we'll have a better look at with articulation. But overall, I can't be upset with this head sculpt because it's done really nicely. Having a look at Booker T's body now, he does use the really muscular body, which I honestly don't have a problem with, but Booker T wasn't this ripped during his match with Triple H, although his pecs were actually really well defined, his abs weren't. I don't know what other body they could have used for him. Maybe the Attitude Era Triple H body would have been a good suit, but this is still a really nice torso. You can see we do have Booker T's tattoo right here on his shoulder. It's a little bright for how the tattoo actually looks, but I'm perfectly okay with that. And then we have another tattoo right here. Again, it's a little bright. I would have liked to see it faded a little bit, because that's pretty much how tattoos are. They're not this defined. They fade over time. And then same thing with his back tattoo right here. It's a little bit too dark. I would have liked to see it just faded just a little bit. It's not a big deal, but it is something to take note. Now, the first inaccuracy with this figure, yes, despite how it looks, there are some inaccuracies to the match, are his elbow pads. Booker T should actually be using the longer elbow pads. I'm not talking about the Undertaker elbow pads, just the slightly bigger ones, because he did have longer elbow pads during the match. If they were to give him actual glove hands, that would have been much better, because he did wear gloves. It had a cuff right here, and then it had some detailing all throughout it. Not a big deal, but that is something to note, that they could have used some glove hands for Booker T. I think that would have been much better than just the black molded hands, but it still looks good from a distance. His tights are done really nicely. They're simple, but they do show off his emblem perfectly. You can see the BT on it, and then the fire. And then on the back we have Booker T with some more fire on the back. Having a look at his knee pads, he is wearing the thicker knee pads, which unfortunately will hinder a lot of his articulation. But that's pretty much how he wore his knee pads during the event, so it's pretty accurate now. He shouldn't have flesh-colored shins. He should actually have black shins, because he did have like coverings from the knee pad down to the boot. It's not a big deal, but it's just something that they should have done, is just keep this the same color as his knee pad, because you really couldn't see any skin tone from his calf down to his boot. So that's something that I wish they had done. And then the final inaccuracy, his boots. Now, they do have Booker T on them, which is pretty much accurate to how he had them, but he didn't wear these smooth boots. He actually did have clips on his boots, so I don't know why they didn't use the boots that have the actual clips on them, because that's pretty much what he wore during the event. He didn't wear smooth boots. But those are my only gripes, is that it's not 100% accurate, but it would have been nice if they did update that just a little bit, so it was a little bit more accurate. But I do appreciate that they did give him black soles on the boots. That's pretty much how he wore it. So despite those tiny little flaws, I still think this is a really nice figure. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get him compared to other figures you may have in your collection. And so here we have Booker T posed next to a WWE Elite Brock Lesnar and a WWE Basic Jeff Hardy. And finally, here we do have Booker T posed next to WrestleMania 19 adversary Triple H. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually have a look at Booker T's articulation. He has a standard Elite articulation, which is a ball-jointed head, so he does look up a little bit. Can't really look down because of how his head sits on that neck, but we do have some slight head tilt, so that works fine. Does have left and right rotation, so that also works. Arms do go out to the side all the way, no issues there. We do have a full rotation. We have bicep swivel, which works nicely. Single bend in the elbow, giving us less than 90 degrees, and that's not because of the elbow pad. That's actually just because of how this particular arm is designed. We don't get 90 degrees with these really muscular arms. We do have a swivel and hinge at the wrist, and that works no problem. We do have an ab crunch, which goes back quite a bit, although mine is a little bit loose going back. You can see there's really not much effort here to make it move, but once you get it to vertical base, it's pretty solid, and it's solid all the way down to this crunch. So on mine, the only loose part is actually right here, leaning back, leaning forward, it's pretty solid, and then leaning forward, again, really solid. So don't know why that is, but I do appreciate that it's tight on the points that it needs. We do have swivel at the waist, which works no problem. Legs do kick forward to about there, kick back, go out to the side, no problem. We do have rotation up high in the thigh, double bend in the knee. You can see we do have some movement, although the knee pad pretty much does hinder it, so do be aware of that. We have boot rotation, which works fine. Then we have a hinge in the ankle, which goes back and forward quite a bit. I really do like that range. And then we also do have rocker ankle. So overall, really do like the articulation on Booker T. I think he's one of my favorite from this WrestleMania series. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get him posed for my final thoughts, and then we can wrap up this review. And so here we do have Booker T posed for my final thoughts, and overall I really like the way this figure came out. The likeness to Booker T is astonishing, and I think that this is one of the better head sculpts that Mattel has released in the WrestleMania series. Now, despite the fact that this figure has some minor inaccuracies, I still like the way he came out. There's really nothing wrong with this figure, and I really can't argue about his accessories because he does come with 3 pairs of hands. He comes with a pair of open hands, he comes with a pair of grasping hands and pointing finger hands. Now, I know I'm being a little greedy here, but maybe a pair of fist hands would have also been welcome for this figure. If you have a pair of black gloved fist hands lying around, you could use it for Booker T, so that's really not a big issue. But other than that, I still love the way this figure came out. Now, I'm not here to criticize WWE matches, so there's plenty of other people that do it better than me. I'm just strictly reviewing the figure, and this figure is remarkably good. I do recommend this figure, especially if you're a fan of Booker T. He does come with the legs and arms for Dangerous Danny Davis, so if you want to complete him, you do kind of need to pick up Booker T to finish the Bill the Referee. Other than that, I can't say enough good things about this figure. I think he's probably the strongest out of this WrestleMania series, and I am really glad I picked him up. You can find Booker T at your local Targets and Walmarts, although he is kind of hard to track down. This is the only one I've ever seen on the shelves, and I know a lot of places are selling out of Booker T and Matt Hardy, so finding Booker T might be a little bit difficult, but if you're lucky enough to find him, definitely pick him up. You won't be disappointed. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and check out all my other action figure reviews, as well as all my other WWE and WrestleMania videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. While you're at it, don't forget to check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.